Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and today we're going to look at the best possible spots for the remaining free agents left and the things that could possibly happen. Now, this is probably going to come out a little bit later than when I recorded, so I'll just be warning you guys now that if things change, I apologize for that, but nonetheless, we're going to react to what could be the possible best fix for the remaining free agents that we have left. So make sure you guys leave this video a like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you do not miss a single video. And without further ado, let's dive into it. Today's video was being brought to you by SeatGeek. Yes, football season is over, but you still have the NBA season, you still have baseball right around the corner, concerts, comedy shows. SeatGeek is your place to get your tickets. Now, let's just say I want to go to an upcoming Chicago Bulls game, me being from Chicago, and I'm going to go to that Bulls game. I'm going to select 2 tickets, and the green means good seats and good deals. The red means bad deals, and the tickets are graded on a scale of 1 through 10. And if you want to get your tickets to go to anything today, and make sure you click the link in the description and use code APW Sports for 10% at checkout. Once again, click the link in the description to save yourself 10% at checkout with SeatGeek. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, best fits for the Jaylon Jennings and the top remaining players of this free agency class. And we're going to have edge rusher Joey Bosa from The Ohio State University, turns 31. So I'm going to see he had a really decent season for the Buffalo Bills last year. Now, before I look at the teams, and I'm not even looking at the article, I think possible teams could possibly be somebody like Chicago, or if you're looking somewhere, maybe it's San Francisco to pair back with his brother. Maybe the Lions are a possible team, in my opinion, that can use some pass rush help. Maybe you pair him with a guy like a Micah Parsons in Green Bay, even though I wouldn't hate to see that. But, or maybe you could possibly add him to maybe the Ravens or somewhere like that. I doubt that. Bengals can possibly be a team as well. But here they have the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers, which absolutely makes sense. Pulling him with his brother would be a great thing for me to see. I wish I could have saw that at Ohio State. But the Lions, I think, is somewhere where you can have him pair with him with Hutchinson, and it would be a great big add to their defense. Next is Taylor Decker, another Buckeye, another former Buckeye. Another teams will be the Bears, but I don't think the Bears are gonna look at him at this point as it's probably gonna cost a little bit more than what the Bears salary cap has. So I think that's a scratch. Or maybe a team like the Texans that can help with their offensive line and fixing some of those woes. So the best teams that you have to fit with the Cleveland Browns and the Chicago Bears. I don't think he goes to Cleveland in this because of the factor of them being in a rebuild type of a situation. The Bears make sense totally, but I don't think the Bears have the cap space to do so. Houston makes a lot of sense because I think they need a revamping and a retooling of that offensive line, and a guy like a Taylor Decker can help. But the Bears, it makes total sense from the Bears standpoint, but you did re-sign Braxton Jones, and you got Jedrick Wills Jr., and then on top of that, the Bears don't have a lot of money to wiggle around and play with. But I would love to see that if it happened. Next is Stefon Diggs. He didn't have the greatest year, but he was a primary target for Drake May in 2025. It's Tennessee, he's 32 years old. He hasn't been the same receiver since coming back off of the ACL, but I think maybe if you play, I don't know, Baltimore maybe, or maybe he can go to, I would say Pittsburgh, but they traded for Michael Pittman Jr., or maybe a team possibly like a Green Bay. The Baltimore Ravens and Tennessee Titans, I don't think he's going to Tennessee because I think he's at a position where he wants to win. And Tennessee would be great, but I think he's in a position where he wants to win. Baltimore is a good fit because they are in a position where I think they could use more weapons around a guy like a Lamar Jackson. Baltimore makes some sense. Tennessee does make a little bit of sense. Maybe Jacksonville, you add another weapon to the weaponry, maybe there, but I don't see him going to Tennessee. Tennessee has a lot of money, so if they wanted to go get him, they can. Maybe the Giants, somewhere, but I don't think I think Baltimore is probably the best fit. Leonard Floyd, another Bear, former Bear, somewhere I have ties to. He's played in Atlanta last year. He's bounced around the league for a little bit, playing with Buffalo, playing with San Francisco now. He's been with the Rams, he's been with Atlanta. Maybe coming back to Chicago could be a pass rush. You don't have to pay a lot for him. He's an older age now, 33. Maybe a revamping or reuniting with him and the Bears. San Francisco will be a good fit too. They need pass rush help outside of Nick Bosa, who's coming back off of injury, and they need a little bolster of their defense. I can see that. Man, I can really see that. That would be a good pairing. Bears and 49ers make sense. Next is Jaylon Jennings, wide receiver. Buffalo was the first team that comes to my mind because I still think they need a wide receiver help outside of DJ Moore. Buffalo would be a good fit, or maybe he goes somewhere, maybe Arizona. I don't see that happening with the quarterback situation, or maybe he goes somewhere. Baltimore could be another possible fit. A good fit to the Chargers and the Titans. Titans could be a good fit, but the Chargers I think makes a lot of sense. So I'm assuming Keenan Allen may not come back. You need some weapons outside of Johnston, who kind of revamped himself a little bit. Lad McConkey had another weapon like Jawan Jennings to help. I think that could be a good fit. Tennessee, I just don't think they do that. I think it would be a good fit for him, but I just don't think they go in that route. I don't. They fixed a lot. They down a lot of money on defense. Adding another weapon to Cam Ward definitely won't help, so I can see that, but we'll see. They do have the money though. Next is Cam Jordan. Lions, Bears, maybe a team, Bengals. You use pass rush help on. Maybe he goes back to New Orleans. Tampa. A lot of teams can use pass rush help, and this makes sense. Now, what they have is Bears and Saints. I mean, the Bears are going to come up with a lot when it comes to those edge rushers, so it makes sense for the Bears to reunite, to bring in a Cam Jordan. But I just think this Bears front office is kind of shown that they want to go young, and I think he's a Saints lifer at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes somewhere and try to compete, because the Saints are in a position where they rebuild. I just think he's a Saints lifer. It does make some sense he goes back in that Dennis Allen defense with the Bears, but will the Bears have the money for it? Kind of like a Taylor Decker, kind of like a Joey Bosa. I don't think the Bears have the money for it. I just don't. But on the football field, it makes some sense. But I think the Bears need to stay with the youth movement on the defensive side of the ball. You know, he comes in and brings a lot of leadership, but I think they need to stay young on that defensive front. I think so. DJ Reader is a big one. Turns 32 this year. Maybe he can go back. Maybe he can go to Dallas, or maybe he can go back to Cincy. I think that's a good deal. And let's see where they have here. Minnesota. Minnesota could be a good deal for him as well. I think Dallas is probably the best fit. I honestly think so. Compare him with the Kenny Clark, get him on the interior of your defensive front. They traded away Osa. I don't want to say their name. They traded away Solomon Thomas. They had Kenny Clark and Kenny Williams, so I don't know if they're going to spend a lot of money there. The Vikings did release Jonathan Allen, so they can go there, and they lost Javon Hargrave, so maybe he can go there. Minnesota and Dallas makes a ton of sense, but I think Dallas, for salary cap reasons, will not be spending a ton. Don't want to spend a ton more money at the defensive tackle spot when you already have Clark and Quentin Williams. But football-wise, Dallas makes a ton of sense. Minnesota, I think, makes a lot of sense for him, as in that defense really can use some interior help. Number 8, Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh or nowhere else. I don't even want to keep talking about Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh or nowhere else. Point blank period. They have Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, Pittsburgh nowhere else. Pittsburgh or retirement home. Point blank period. Next, Bobby Wagner, older, 36. Chargers, maybe. I wouldn't say Bears. No. Minnesota, maybe. Denver, maybe. Dallas and the Rams. He goes back to the Rams. I don't think they go there, even though they can use some veteran leadership at their linebacker spot. Dallas makes some sense. Yeah. I think the Rams are Dallas. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense here. And the last player is Kevin Zeiler, guard, Texans. Any lineman, Chargers, Texans, Raiders, maybe. Let's see what they have. Chargers, Lions. Yeah, the Lions can boost up the interior of their offensive line, and the Chargers, yeah. Chargers. I think the Chargers is the best fit for him. Really solid, even though he said 36. And the Chargers are at a window now where they kind of want to capitalize on some of the things that they've been doing lately. I think the Chargers are a great deal. But those are my thoughts, or the thoughts of this article. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. APW Sports signing out. Peace.